Hello, fourth grader and/or fourth grade family. This is your tutorial on how to create the perfect math STAAR brain dump. We know the STAAR test is the big test we take at the end of the year, but in this case, STAAR actually stands for Secret to All Answers Right. This is going to be your secret sauce that you can use at any point during the test if you get stuck. We know that STAAR is super long, and sometimes your brain takes a little nap or a little vacation because it's tired from all the hard work it has done preparing for this test. So this is the perfect way to wake up your brain. When you hear you may begin, you're going to take your scratch paper. You can have as much scratch paper as you need. So we're going to use this entire sheet and you're going to create this brain dump. That way, during the test, this is a resource that you can use to help yourself. You know that STAAR is really long, and once you finish, you're just going to sit there like a lump on a pickle. So you might as well spend the first few minutes creating this brain dump so that your future self will thank you. It's going to be 7 steps. Step 1 is to create your big G. So you're making one big G. Now, this is a way to remember our capacity measurements for the customary system. Don't forget, you will have your reference material sheets that will remind you, for example, how many quarts are in a gallon, but this is a nice visual model that you can use. So think back to our Kingdom of Gallon story. In the Kingdom of Gallon, there lived 4 queens. So we're going to put 4 big Q's inside of our G. These Q's stand for quarts. So 1 gallon has 4 quarts. Each queen had a prince and a princess, so inside of each Q we're going to put 2 P's. These P's stand for pints, so there are 2 pints in a quart, and there are 8 pints in a gallon. Each prince and princess had 2 cats, so we're going to put 2 little teeny tiny C's inside of each P. These C's stand for cups, so there are 2 cups in a pint. There are 4 cups in a quart, and there are 16 cups in a gallon. Number 2 is going to be the 2 parts of a fraction. Numerator, which is the number on top. This represents how many parts you have, and then the denominator on the bottom. This represents the number of parts in the whole. Don't forget, this is a math test, not a reading test. This is your own scratch paper. No one else is going to see it. It's okay if things are not spelled correctly. Number 3 is going to be finding equivalent fractions. So to help us remember for 3, we're going to use the fraction 1/3, and we're going to multiply it by 3/3. That means we're multiplying the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. 1 times 3 gives me a new numerator of 3. On the denominator, 3 times 3 gives me 9. So that means 1/3 is equivalent to 3/9. Don't forget that anytime the numerator and denominator are the same number, so in this case 3/3, that is equivalent to 1 whole. If I multiply anything by 1, it doesn't change the value. So as long as I multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number or divide them by the same number, I'm getting an equivalent fraction. I'm getting a fraction with the same value. Number 4 is going to be a rectangle, because a rectangle has 4 sides. This is going to be our little memory hook for area and perimeter. So inside, I'm going to write area, because area is the space inside a shape. And then around the edge, the border or the rim, if you will, I'm going to write perimeter, because perimeter is the space around a shape. Now, ideally, I would write it on all 4 sides, but you can also make your life easier and just put a P so you remember that that's perimeter. Once again, you're going to have that reference material sheet, and it's going to have your area and perimeter formulas for both rectangles and squares. This is just a reminder of where area is and where perimeter is. For number 5, we're going to create 5 lines and angles. First is going to be our acute angle, and acute angles have little teeny tiny spaces inside that are less than 90 degrees. So I'm going to put less than 90 degrees, and I'm going to label this acute. Then we have our right angle. Right angles measure exactly 90 degrees. They're usually marked with a square in the corner, but you can always take your scratch paper and use the corner and line it up on your Chromebook screen, and if it matches up, then that is a right angle. Then we have our obtuse angles, and remember, obtuse has a big caboose. So obtuse angles measure greater than 90 degrees. And then we're going to have our types of lines. So we have parallel lines. And remember, parallel lines can go any direction, but they will never ever touch. They look like the two L's in the word parallel. And then we have perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines create square corners or right angles when they cross. And remember, it's your test. No one else is going to see your scratch paper. It's okay if it's not spelled correctly. Next is going to be 6 place values. And the order that you put these in, it doesn't really matter as long as you have space. You can always go on to the back. It's okay if it doesn't fit on one side. So for our 6 place values, we're going to write out 1, comma, 2, 3, 4, decimal point, 5, 6, and then we're going to label our place values, and we can label it on top or on the bottom. For this, I usually like to turn my paper. At the very, very end, we have our hundredths. It's like the word hundred, but with THS at the end. The next biggest place value would be our tenths. Again, it's the word 10 with THS at the end. We have our decimal point. Our decimal point separates the whole numbers from the parts that are less than a whole. We have our ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. And just to show you, if you don't want to do all that writing, you can always abbreviate it. H for hundreds, TH for thousands. And then last, we are already at step 7. 7 is going to be our 7 quadrilaterals. Now, a quadrilateral is just a shape that has 4 sides. It is a closed shape, meaning that there's no open space. All of those sides touch each other, create angles on the inside, but this is a quadrilateral. So as long as it has 4 sides and is a closed shape, it is a quadrilateral. But then there are certain types of quadrilaterals. For example, I can have a trapezoid. A trapezoid is going to have 1 pair of parallel sides. So we can show that by putting these little teeny tiny arrows. That means that they are parallel, but not necessarily congruent. Congruent means the same length. This one on top is shorter. This one on the bottom is longer. So they are not congruent, but they are parallel. They're never going to touch each other. This is my trapezoid. Then we also have parallelograms. So parallelograms have 2 sets of parallel sides. That's why it's a parallelogram. So we can show this by putting the little lines. These are just little straight lines. I'm saying that these two are parallel and congruent. They are the same length as well. And then I'm going to use 2 lines here to say that these two are parallel and congruent. So this is a parallelogram. So a parallelogram is also a quadrilateral. A trapezoid is also a quadrilateral. Under parallelogram, we have some special kinds. One is called a rhombus, and I'm going to do my best to draw this accurately. A rhombus has opposite sides that are parallel, but all 4 sides are congruent. All 4 sides are the same length. So this is a rhombus. Now, a rhombus is also a parallelogram and also a quadrilateral. Then we also have a rectangle. So a rectangle has opposite sides that are parallel and congruent, but it has 4 right angles. A rhombus does not have 4 right angles. So these 2 sides are parallel and congruent. These 2 sides are parallel and congruent. This is a rectangle. Now, a rectangle is also a parallelogram and also a quadrilateral. But underneath of both of these, we also have a square. What's special about a square is it has 4 congruent sides, so 4 sides that are the same length. It has 4 right angles, 90-degree angles, and opposite sides are parallel. So this is a square. But a square is a rhombus and a rectangle. A square is a parallelogram and a quadrilateral. Now, to connect this with the number 7, right now we have 6 quadrilaterals drawn. I can draw my special type of trapezoid, which is called a right trapezoid. A right trapezoid has a right angle. So a trapezoid, sorry, 2 right angles. A trapezoid can have a right angle, but it doesn't have to. As long as it has one pair of parallel sides, then it is a trapezoid. Hopefully this was helpful for you. This is that 7-step Math Star brain dump. I promise it seems overwhelming, but the more you practice it, the easier you get, or the easier it gets to create it. And once you have this down, as soon as you hear you may begin on the STAAR test, create this brain dump. You'll be able to do it in just a few minutes, and then you have this for the entire test to use as a resource. Good luck, kiss your brain. It's been working hard. You're gonna do great. You've got this.